What's happening, everyone? Nick here from TV Box Top, and welcome to a new Android TV Box review. The box I have for you today is sponsored by Wells Electronic Technology Limited under the Smiker brand. This box is called the Smiker KT96 Max, and it runs on the Amlogic S905X4 CPU with 4GB of RAM and 64GB of internal storage. For only $68, it delivers great performance and features. However, it's hard to find in major retail stores. So to see what this box is all about, the performance it delivers, and where you can get it, my full review begins right after this quick unboxing. So welcome back after that quick unboxing. So in this purchase, you have the usual contents such as the Android box itself, one infrared remote, one HDMI cable, a 5 volts 2 amps DC power adapter, and a user manual. So the design of the box consists of a plastic shell with a glossy surface with the K96 Max branding. For I/O ports, it has one HDMI, one Ethernet LAN, one optical audio, one AV port, and its DC power socket to its rear. To its side, it has one USB 3.0, one USB 2.0, and a micro SD card reader. At the front, it has an LED display. And its base has 4 anti-skid rubber pads and lots of ventilation holes. So the boot up process includes a simple Smiker splash screen followed by the Android TV OS animation. Then you are taken to the launcher. So this is its launcher, and it's called the J Launcher. It's clean, minimalistic, and fast. It does not use animations, and it has a panel to the left here for accessing the app section and the settings area. And below the main icons, it has a shortcuts bar. It's running on what I call a hybrid version of Android TV OS, so it does not have a navigation bar or status bar. The reason for calling it a hybrid firmware is due to the fact that its base operating system is Android TV OS, yet it uses the mobile version of the Google Play Store with the Android TV OS virtual on-screen keyboard. In my opinion, it makes no sense presenting the Play Store in this format because all of the apps available are from the Android TV Play Store, so it's very limited anyway. So in order to navigate using a mouse pointer, you will have to install the keyboard for Android TV application and the menu button alternative navigation bar by side loading. However, you don't get the recent apps feature. So its firmware was built using the Android TV OS SDK, and here is its firmware build information with access to developer options. For max display resolution, it can display up to 4K 2160p at 60Hz up to 12-bit color space. And out of the box, it boots with HDR display always on, but it also has an adaptive HDR feature. This feature makes it compatible with TVs that don't have HDR. It has HDMI CEC options, but it does not work to automatically turn off your TV together with the box or control its volume. It has the option to switch surround sound audio on or off, and I'll test for various formats later in the video. And it comes in 52 various languages. So it does not feature a root switch, hardware monitor feature, built-in screen rotation, or Samba server feature. These are not usually available on Android TV OS boxes anyway. So I've already mentioned that it runs on the Amlogic S905X4 chipset, and let's take a look at the rest of its system and hardware information. So it runs on 4GB of RAM, and this is DDR4 memory with 64GB of internal storage and Bluetooth 5.0 technology. Its CPU is a quad-core Cortex A55 processor configured in 32-bit mode, clocked at 2.0 GHz with support for only 32-bit apps and games. Its display graphics processor is the Mali G31 with OpenGL version 3.2 support. It has dual-band Wi-Fi AC 2.4 plus 5 GHz connectivity, but it does connect to my Wi-Fi 6 router on both bands. The Android TV OS version is Android 11 and it's not rooted, as I will show you in just a moment. Its GPU has Vulkan support API version 1.1. Its idle operating temperature is around 55 degrees Celsius. And it has all the decoders for the playback of 4K HDR, HLG, AV1 videos, and the videos with surround sound audio formats such as Dolby Atmos EAC3, DTS HD, and videos with Dolby Vision. So that's some really good specs, the kind we like to see in our Android boxes, and let's see what it can do as part of our entertainment system. So if you are into streaming movies and TV shows in HD and 4K from official services such as Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, Disney Plus and Max, just to name a few, this box does not have the required DRM level. DRM stands for Digital Rights Management and it's geared to protect these services from persons just simply recording their services illegally. This requires a higher DRM level and HDMI encryption for you to run these services on this box. As you can see here, it only has Google Widevine Level 3 and it has no HDCP protection. This means when you try to run services such as Netflix, it will detect this low level and restrict their streams to basic 480p resolution even if you are paying for an HD account. The required level is Widevine Level 1 with HDCP 2.2 or 2.3 protection. It also shows that the firmware is not rooted, which is also another requirement, but it matters not because it still lacks the required DRM level. Most people seeking to purchase a box such as this one most surely aren't looking to stream paid subscription services and most likely are looking for free alternative options such as pirated content via sideloaded APKs or add-ons. Even though it's strongly ill-advised to engage in such practices, there are always going to be people doing so regardless of my advice or not. Just be aware that none of these services or apps come pre-installed on this box and you are doing so at your own risk. But there is so much more to Android boxes that meets the eye, and they can be applied in different ways that can deliver a great entertainment experience. One such function is watching YouTube videos. Most smart TVs these days have YouTube built right into their programming, and most choose to watch videos on their mobile phones anyway. So why would you want to watch YouTube on an Android box? One reason that comes to mind is when connected to projectors or very large displays that are not televisions. With a KT96 Max, you can watch YouTube videos in as high as 4K 2160p resolution, and it also features HDR when watching YouTube videos. So depending on the projector or display that may or may not have smart features, it can be achieved with this box. Another feature, though not so popular, is casting your mobile phone or tablet to the box. This is something you can do on almost every smart TV and even projectors, but the option is available if your only option is the box itself. So this box comes with the official version of Miracast that has the ability to cast your mobile phone in HD, but unfortunately, when I tried it to connect my mobile phone, it does not work. So as an alternative, I installed the AirScreen app, and using the Google Home application, I am able to cast my mobile phone to the box. In the AirScreen app settings, if you set the resolution to 1080p and set your mobile phone's app such as YouTube also to 1080p, it will cast your mobile phone in HD. One of the oldest practices for home entertainment is storing personal videos and even movies on external storage such as portable hard drives and private NAS servers. We are now in the age of high-speed Wi-Fi and gigabit networks, and it's now possible to stream large video content in 4K and even 8K resolution with HDR and surround sound audio formats. The KT96 Max comes equipped with all the decoders for the playback of 4K AV1, HDR, HLG, Dolby Vision videos, and here I have it connected to a 55 inches Dolby Vision TV, and I'll now run some video samples to see if it triggers the HDR, HLG, and Dolby Vision features. So first, I'll start with my favorite 4K 60Hz AV1 HDR10 video. So this video triggers the HDR10 feature on my TV at a resolution of 4K 2160p at 60 Hz. Next, I would like to try a 4K HDR HLG video. So it triggers the HLG display feature at 4K 60 Hz. And now I'll try a Dolby Vision video. This firmware comes with Dolby Vision decoders, but this will only allow you to play the video smoothly. It will not trigger the Dolby Vision feature because Android media players do not have the license that Netflix and others have. And furthermore, the box is not certified to play apps such as Netflix in HD and 4K with Dolby Vision. So you would have to settle for Dolby Vision videos playing with HDR10 and HLG. So anyone who is serious about their home entertainment and has an entertainment room would most likely be interested in a surround sound audio system. This would usually be in 5.1 or 7.1 speaker configuration with a subwoofer connected to an AV receiver. Others prefer a soundbar and a subwoofer. The KT96 Max, as we observed during the System and Hardware Information segment under the Codecs section, comes with all of the decoders for the playback of Dolby and the DTS audio formats. So here I have it connected to my Sony 7.1 AV receiver in HDMI pass-through configuration, which means it plugs into one of the HDMI input ports of the receiver, and the output HDMI port from the receiver goes to the TV. Speakers are connected via the receiver's speaker ports. So let's see the formats we get with this setup. In this first test, we are looking for Dolby Atmos and Dolby Digital Plus. Both formats are compressed into one video, and depending on which speaker configuration you choose, you will get either format. So this is Dolby Atmos.
The world's first object-based cinematic audio. With powerful moving audio that transcends from channels.
And here it produces Dolby Digital Plus.
Whether the soundscape sets the mood of the scene.
In this video, the box is supposed to output DTS HD Master audio. However, it's only producing DTS Virtual X or Neural X as it's called. I simply refer to it as basic DTS. This is a Dolby Vision video, and the audio format produced is called Dolby Surround, so the box has no issues as it successfully outputs this format, but as mentioned, the Dolby Vision feature is not triggered. One of the highest formats of surround sound audio is Dolby True HD, which is one of the most difficult compressions in the Dolby lineup. Here, unfortunately, the KT96 Max cannot produce Dolby True HD, and the receiver is simply displaying PCM for basic audio.
Next, we have the center channel.
And in the DTS lineup formats, DTS-X is their highest format, and similar to DTS HD Master Audio, the box cannot output this format and produces basic DTS. So from this demonstration, it cannot produce DTS HD Master Audio, Dolby True HD, and the DTS-X. I now focus my attention on alternative operating systems. Since the release of the Amlogic S905X4 DTP or device tree, it's now possible to install Core Alec on every S905X4 model. So here I successfully installed Core Alec version 21 Omega, and with it I have some exciting developments. First and foremost, it allows me to change the resolution from 1080p to 4K 2160p, and under audio settings, when it's set to export mode, I can now enable Dolby Atmos and the DTS audio features. So with these two settings, I was able to install the official paid subscription versions of Netflix and Amazon Prime Video add-ons and watch movies in HD 1080p with Dolby Atmos. I tried to achieve 4K HDR, but the highest I'm getting is full HD 1080p. And please note, it has full Google Widevine CDM protection. This can also be done under Kodi, but when I attempted to change Kodi's resolution, it was restricted to 1080p only. So for those who continuously put down Android boxes such as this one because they cannot watch Netflix and others in HD, here's a solution to your problem. In one of my upcoming videos, I will demonstrate how to install Netflix and Prime Video both on Kodi Media Player and on Core Alec.
It's important that he does. He may have to rely on it more and more each year.
Another exciting operating system you can install is EmuAlec for retro emulation gaming. Using the same DTP as the one in Core Alec, you can successfully load hundreds of thousands of retro game ROMs and enjoy seamless gameplay. And with it, you have access to dual band Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connectivity for your gamepads. Returning now to its Android operating system, and let's take a look at its gaming performance. So with Vulkan support and its CPU clocked at 2.0 GHz, it has pretty good gaming performance and its temperature can rise into the mid-70s during gaming. So it's advised that you use an active cooling fan for safety. And finally, let's take a look at its benchmarks and where it ranks on my chart. First, its RAM copy speed and internal storage read and write speeds. Its RAM copy speed is 3459 megabytes per second. Its internal storage read speed is 142 megabytes per second, and it has a write speed of 90 megabytes per second. In testing the speeds of its dual Wi-Fi bands and its Ethernet LAN port based on my network speed of 154 megabits per second, both the 2.4 and 5 GHz band achieved the maximum speed of my network. In testing its LAN port, I encountered an issue where my router is detecting that the box is connected, but the box is not switching over from Wi-Fi to Ethernet LAN connection, resulting in no LAN connectivity. In benchmarking its CPU directly for single-core and multi-core performance, the Geekbench 5 CPU benchmark resulted in a score of 140 single-core and 482 multi-core. In benchmarking its GPU's performance with Vulkan support, Vulkan is currently at API version 1.3, but Android boxes are still at version 1.1. In the 3DMark Wildlife test that is designed to test the performance of GPUs with Vulkan support generated a score of 183. And finally, in the Antutu benchmark, which is a comprehensive test across all components and firmware user experience, it generated a score of 102,551. So here I'm at my master Android TV box rankings chart, and based on its AnTuTu benchmark score, it ranks at position 32 at the time of making this video, which is pretty good and is consistent with other S905X4 boxes clocked at 2.0 GHz. So to view this chart to see how it compares to other boxes in its class and to previous models along with all its features, see the link in the description below this video. And on this chart you have a link to price comparison or coupons, and I also provide a link directly to its corresponding video, so see the link in the description. In summary, there are some good talking points with this model. For me, what stands out is its performance, and it has the benchmarks to prove it. Where its firmware features are concerned, I don't mind the hybrid firmware once you have access to all apps and games found on the mobile version. Although its Play Store is the mobile version, you are still restricted to some apps and games. With all of the video and audio decoders listed, I was expecting it to be fully compatible with all surround sound audio formats. The issue with its LAN port is troubling and can be fixed with a simple firmware update. Whether that will be available is hard to tell. I like that it works well with alternative operating systems and its gaming performance is good. Just keep in mind to apply an active cooling fan for safety. In summary, Samiker is a fairly new and unknown brand developed by Wells Electronics Technology Limited and has been manufacturing boxes for other brands for many years. I appreciate that in this time of slow Android box development, they saw it fit to reach out and send one of their better models for review. However, they are yet to release their brand on major retail stores such as Amazon and AliExpress, and persons seeking to purchase this model would have to do a single purchase directly from Alibaba, which is fairly simple to do. So if you are interested, see the link in the description below this video. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel to show your support. If you are just landing on one of my videos for the first time, I appreciate the view and I urge you to hit that subscribe button and ring the notifications bell to be notified each time I release new videos or decide to do a giveaway. Thanks for taking the time to watch my video. Stay tuned and see you in the next one.